in other cities, Tehran, Isfahan, in the north, you're okay, you're sleeping through the night now. But if you're in southern Iran, in those port cities, you're not. You're hearing explosions right the way through the night, because it's generally overnight that these airstrikes are happening, though not exclusively. So, for example, last night there were 5 hours of airstrikes, US CENTCOM said, but then we have seen those American attacks continuing today. So there have been strikes on the port cities of Bushehr, where Iran's only civilian nuclear plant is, and also Bandar Abbas. And there have also been reports of American attacks close to the border with Iraq and Kuwait.
Caroline Hawley, our world affairs correspondent, many thanks. Well, Iran has renewed targeting US military facilities in the region. How has it managed to launch these attacks despite heavy US bombing of the last few months? BBC News weapons analyst Chris Partridge is on the line. What do the tanker attacks, hi Chris, what do the tanker attacks by Iran reveal in terms of its own military capability?
Well, it tells us basically that Iran still has the ability to severely disrupt using military action in order to inflict economic harm in the region. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has also been using fast boats in the Gulf before to monitor, intercept, and occasionally seize or attack international commercial shipping. So basically it's demonstrating, despite the massive heavy attacks it sustained early in the year, that it still has the capability of delivering attacks in a way that affects the United States and also the world.
Is Iran able to replenish its supplies?
Yes, indeed it is, apparently. According to assessments, there's a belief that the missile stocks, it has some 70% of its missile stocks which it had before February the 28th. And there is some capability to try to replenish them as well. A lot of the missiles are buried deep underground in underground silos, and it has been working at pace to try to rebuild those stocks up. Now, obviously, the United States has also been involved in its attacks, in attacking those infrastructure facilities which try to repair those damaged missile areas, but it is apparently able now to sort of keep the production going. How far, we don't know, and to what extent, we don't know either.
Chris Partridge, our BBC News weapons analyst, many thanks for joining us. Well, to stay right up to date with events in Iran, do follow Caroline Hawley's work and, of course, the work of Chris and our journalists at the live page. A couple of banks of desks to my left are continuing to post regular updates. They're all currently posting analysis at the moment of that recent social media post by President Trump. They're also posting the analysis of a maritime security expert who said that the industry is making hour-by-hour decisions on when to transit the Strait of Hormuz to ensure safety for cargo, crew and vessels. And we'll aim to get the expertise of our colleagues at BBC Verify to tell us the status of maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. Do stay with us here on Outside Source.
This is the BBC World Service, where Misha Glennie and guests are discussing an element that was born billions of years ago when ancient stars died.
The chemical element silicon is at the heart of some of the most useful and beautiful objects on the planet. It's one of the most abundant elements in the Earth's crust and a building block of the universe. More recently, silicon has become the foundation of modern electronics, and we now live in what's called the Silicon Age.
It's the moment when the world transformed.
My guests will be telling us why silicon is a semiconductor, if there could be silicon-based life somewhere in space, and what a type of algae can tell us about the last ice age.
In Our Time, Silicon. Saturday at 11 GMT.
You're listening to Outside Source on the BBC World Service, live from our newsroom here in central London. In a few minutes' time, we'll bring you a sense of what the atmosphere is like in Dallas, in the United States, as France and Spain gear up for the first of the two World Cup semi-finals. That'll kick off in a few hours' time. We speak to a number of fans, including one Spanish fan who lives in the United States, who's decided to spend more than $2,000 for tickets for him and his son.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. President Trump has repeated his intention to reimpose a naval blockade on Iran as the fight for control of the Strait of Hormuz continues. but he says he's dropped his plan for the US to charge ships to use the waterway. Earlier, Iran reported new American attacks on coastal areas. The fossilised remains of a Tyrannosaurus rex has sold in New York for just over $50 million, a new record. The 67-million-year-old dinosaur, nicknamed Gus, is one of the biggest T-Rex specimens ever discovered. The emergencies chief of the World Health Organization says Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo could be 2 to 4 times higher than the official tally. The Congolese authorities have confirmed almost 2,000 cases. China has expelled a former top Communist Party official in Xinjiang province for corruption. Ma Xingrui is the third Politburo member to be purged since 2025. The president-elect of Colombia, Abelardo de la Espriella, will close the office negotiating with armed groups. The outgoing administration pursued a policy named Total Peace. Health officials in Gaza say at least 7 people have been killed in an Israeli strike on a police station in the northern town of Jabalia. Witnesses said an Israeli drone fired 4 missiles at a police gathering point. Israel has not commented. Ministers from Britain, Spain and the EU have signed a treaty with Gibraltar, lifting border checks between the British self-governing territory and Spain from Wednesday. Gibraltar's chief minister said it removed the physical barriers of a bygone era of friction. A court in Spain's convicted the Prime Minister's brother, David Sanchez, of administrative misconduct. He's banned from public office for 9 years. Pedro Sanchez said the accusation came from the far right. BBC News.
You're listening to Outside Source on the BBC World Service, live from our newsroom here in central London in 3.5 hours' time. The first of the semi-finals of the World Cup will take place in Dallas, pitting France against Spain. In a sense, it's a kind of scientific experiment. What happens when you put the world's best attack, France, against the world's best defence, Spain? We shall soon find out. Just before we came on air, I got up to date with 3 fans who'll be all watching the game. French fan Luc is a student in LA. In Dallas, where the game's being held, we had the president of the Barcelona Dallas fan club and firm Spain supporter, Matt. And also in Dallas, with 2 tickets to the semi-final, not including you and me, we had Paco, who will be backing his native Spain. He's off on his way to the game with his 19-year-old son. I began by asking the French fan Luc whether or not this fixture should actually really be the final.
I think it's the final before the final. Yeah.
I agree with you, Luke. Nice to meet you.
Matt, you've been out. You've seen Spain in person. You watched that last-minute winner against Portugal in the last 16. Matt, does Spain have what it takes to beat France and one of the most terrifying forward lines in the history of modern football?
James, not only do they have the talent, they've had the talent. This didn't happen overnight. So with Lamine, with Dani Olmo, with Nico Williams, and of course, Lamine Yamal, whatever. Birthday yesterday, 19. Yes. To your question, yes. They have 100% accuracy to beat Spain. Again, this will be the 7th win in the last 6 meetings.
You're very confident.
Yeah. They are too confident, maybe. That would be their...
Luke, you're a French fan. How do you see it?
I feel we learned our lesson. We lost the 2 last time, big matches. I feel more humble on this one, and that's our strength on this competition. I feel the French team is, of course, really ready. You've seen the previous games. Our attack is really, really strong. Yeah, I feel it will be a tough game. It will be the final before the final, but it will be also a game about who controls the middle of the pitch. So we'll see. What do you think, Matt?
Pedri, Dani Olmo. Yep, we'll see.
Luke, you've been following the World Cup closely. You're in LA. What's it been like watching this French team?
It's amazing. I'm French, so I've been following the French team since ever. I feel it's maybe one of the best teams we ever had since I'm born. In LA, there are a lot of French fans, a lot of French, so we'll all gather together, and it's really good to be 100,000 and cheers after the French team. It's really a good feeling.
Well, to add to the fun, we have a third guest in the conversation, someone who has a ticket